All right, so back to my Kimi. I just want to quickly, in 2 minutes, show you what I did in regards to the brand. I'm just going to go all the way up. So I've got my color psychology, brand archetypes. Remember all those files? I'll add them to this lesson again for you. And then we have our branding master prompt, right? And I've just simply started, please execute the branding master prompt file for me. Include all the documents I've attached. They're super cool and related and relate to branding, and I always use them. So it went out and it figures there is 27 discovery questions. That's why I didn't do it while we are it's probably about a 20-minute video to go through all of them, but it asked me business foundation. It asked me things like, what is the origin story? What is the mission other than beyond money? What's the core values? All kinds of things like that. And I did explain it in quite detail for it. Now I can tell you it will take you 20 to 30 minutes. But you need to involve the customer into it, right? So you need to ask the customer certain questions. For instance, you do not know why this company is started. You don't know what is the story behind the story, all right? The best way to do it is to record it, either on your cell phone as you have the meeting, so that you can use AI to transcribe this for you and put it basically in here and say, look, many of the questions you have has already been answered. Please go through this transcript I had with the customer. And it will then probably just ask you 4 or 5 questions. You can do the same if you're on Google Meet or any one of those platforms, for it to record the session for you so that you can take this transcript and give it over to Kimi to go find answers before it asks you additional answers. And it came down basically to that the archetype that we're going to use, well, it started off to say the current name is the coffee shop, but change it to something like Ritual and Co. Make it more strategic, because it is just everyday default. I know one want to say the boathouse or the coffee shop or the barber or whatever, but it suggests different things. It comes back with colors, the red, the darks, and it comes back with a primary archetype as lover, passionate, intimate type of shop. So as I've answered things, I've never worked with a lover archetype before in my life, but then again, you're going to find many of these types of archetypes that you're not familiar with, or that is of no importance to you even. I'm not really worried about coffee and meeting up people and so forth in coffee shops, but this is your customer, and you need to do as great a job as you possibly can. So it created this brand file. I'm going to copy it. I'm going back to cursor. I'm going to create a new file, and basically I'm going to go to Docs. I'm going to create a new folder, and here I'm going to say these are just general, okay? it's stuff that I'll put in there as I carry on. So in general, I'll create a new file and I'll call it brand.md. All right, and I'm going to paste the stuff from Kimmy in there. Because I have a specific feel and like that I would love to add to this, I'm going to add there what I will find very important to add to this site is the following. So the customer wants it witty. So whenever you have headlines, Euro images and so forth, and you need captions, have it witty. Have it in such a way that it put a slight smile on your mouth. The customer have witty menus, witty names for its coffee. So although it is a place of get together, the idea is to have it in such a way that we are not going to be clowns, we're not going to be telling jokes, but we want an atmosphere of, yes, friendliness, but also of getting the guys to laugh, getting the guys to start chatting, not about somber things, negativeness. So the idea about the wittiness is, to change the mood into from a maybe neutral or from a negative thing to a positive thing. And even if there's negative things, that you can sort of make a joke about all these negative stuff in the world. All right, so it added there for me. I'm going to just simply save it. And I'm now going to start building out the brand for us. I'll install that later. So we're in plan mode, right? I'm going to just take this brand file, move it over. And I'm going to say, okay, I already start saying it. And I'm going to say, we need to create a professional website for this customer that's got a coffee shop. This coffee shop is witty, but a place for people to go to that will have a lighter mood without being clowns and jokers. I would say without us being clowns and jokers. We want to lighten the atmosphere. We want to lighten the mood. We want to create, although witty, but a atmosphere of where a somber get-together is changed by putting smiles on people's faces to a conversation that is uptone, upbeat, energetic vibe, and if it is people, for instance, that haven't seen each other for a long time, that they still feel comfortable immediately with each other, where they can joke with one another, where they can rather, instead of telling the negative stories, suddenly feel so vibrant that they don't have a choice but to be positive. If it is lovers, maybe a guy that takes a girl on a first date, that the atmosphere there will change it into a total positive instead of a scary and a worrisome experience. So we're going to sell coffee beans later on, but for now, just a web page for this coffee shop that is currently brick and mortar only. They do plan, of course, to sell this magic coffee beans of them on this site, but that will be a feature we'll implement later on. The styling should be that each page will always have a Euro section. Images will be added later, but the headlines for each Euro section should be there. From there on, minimal graphics, and it should rather contain icons, lucid icons, and then graphics. So we want it clean, we want it open, and graphics will be only used in Euro images. And of course, if it's the product images will be shown in the shopping carts and in the Euro images itself. Make use of cards where possible, normally 3 cards at least. When something gets explained, use toasts for maybe a contact form to show success, so the customer should always be notified of things as he click around. Then also, let me just see, we're running out of time, so let me add just a couple of things. The first thing is create at least 6 pages. The menu bar on top should be professional. It should have the menu items, but even little lucid icons that's appropriate next to each menu item. The pages will be about us. The first page will be just a run through of what the website is about. Then a page about the different coffees in their store. Make up witty names for the types of coffees. Then another page for their coffee beans and merge. Contact us, and then in the footer have the terms, conditions, privacies, and anything else that is required according to law. I'm going to execute the plan, and this is then the end of this video. While the plan is running, we'll read through the plan in the next video. So I'll see you soon. Bye.